Oh yeah, Josh Hokit here. I'm kicking ass, I'm taking names. I'm even sporting fancy frames. And that's the final word because Josh Hokit said so. Ugh. Susan, do you think you could make me a spot of tea before the next one? My throat is buggered. What's up, people? Welcome back to the BCMA podcast. That's the Black Clover Martial Arts podcast. This is Lucky from Lucky's Muay Thai. This is session 2, episode 6. We're going to talk about UFC 327 in Miami because it was quite a roller coaster. And there are like a number of things, obviously, to discuss about this craziness, including our boy Josh Hokit. If you saw the entrance or the intro, what a show. The literal show. But first, if you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe, pass it along. Please write a comment below to help the algorithm. If you want to stop by the gym, this is our 8-year anniversary. We're doing a great deal, $120 for your first month, which is far below just about anybody's price in Miami for anything. So if you want to stop by the gym, hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. We have a fantastic Muay Thai program, fantastic Jiu-Jitsu program, 8 years and still growing. And you can stop by and see why. Hit us up, www.luckysmt.com, and come join the family. Okay, let's get into this. Miami UFC 327 card. First thing to note is that the ticket sales and the gate was way less. And when I say way less, the last 3 times they were here, the first year they did 14 million in gate. That's ticket sales. The next 2 times they were here, they did 12 million and then a little bit under 12 million. And then this time they did 6 million. Now, some of that is because obviously it's easier to watch it on Paramount Plus now. The other part is the tickets are too expensive. Now, we can get into name value and all that, but there are enough people that like Jiri. And I mean, obviously it's a championship fight. And like there was enough, I think, energy in the fighters that you could have probably promoted this and gotten a few more people in there, but that is poor ticket sales for the premier organization. And then there's been some views of like the crowd, and if you can see the empty seats, which is wild to me. Now, this card was really crazy. Obviously, fight cards have been a little weird ever since the Paramount Plus. I think everybody's been trying to like, is it going to level out? Is it going to get better? Are people going to watch it more, watch it less? Like, what's going to happen? And this is a card that potentially could have drawn in more people as fans of the sport if they would have promoted it and maybe gotten it a little bit more hyped. The person that did basically all the heavy lifting for this fight was Josh Hokit, and he is literally just coming into the UFC, and he found his way. We should get into that, but first I want to talk a little bit about Cub Swanson, because he was a fighter that I really liked back in the WEC, and there was a point where he was going to fight Jose Aldo, and I was like, whoa, this is going to be a great fight. Jose Aldo comes out and scissor knees and lands both knees. Double knee to the face of Cub Swanson, KO at the beginning of the round. Like, I mean, it might have been 7 seconds or something like that, something wild. But I've always been a fan of Cub Swanson all these years, banging just, and you could see in this fight against Nate Landwehr that he just went out there and did it. And he talked about later how he wasn't feeling good, so forth and so on. But like his professionalism and the way that he's carried himself throughout his career, Cub Swanson is a real one. I hope he gets all the accolades that are available to him, and I hope that he has a fantastic retirement. I know he opened a gym and he's going to do some stuff, but like, great fighter, great person, navigated life well to this point and is still continuing to do so. He's somebody that UFC fighters that are looking to be somewhere and have a great career, that's somebody you can look up to for sure. Another thing I want to talk about was Aaron Pico, who fought Patricio Pitbull, and I know it's going to sound a little crazy, but Aaron Pico looked a lot like GSP out there. And what I mean by that is he was doing a lot of long jabbing. He was staying out of the range as much as he could of Patricio Pitbull. He threw kicks when necessary. And then when things got a little hot, he would hit the slickest takedown. Now, the whole thing about this fight is that Patricio Pitbull is not the tallest guy. And in fact, Aaron Pico just, really outsized him by a lot. And so for Aaron Pico to be able to duck under and hit these slick takedowns on a guy like Patricio who is throwing bombs at the time, like, this to me is very GSP. Like it's like a template of GSP. And my thing is like, this is the way, if you're skilled enough, this is a great way to win fights. Now, GSP caught a lot of shit. Oh, he's not finishing this, that, and the other, but he always looked fantastic when he fought, and this is why. He'd work the outside. He'd work the kicks when necessary. He'd be explosive, and then when the right time came, he'd hit a sick takedown, maybe some ground and pound there, whatever the case may be. But the point was that he was well-rounded, and he showed it, and you could see it when he was fighting. And Aaron Pico showed that against Patricio Pitbull, and Aaron Pico's still young. So when I say young, 28, I think. So he might go on a run, man. Pay attention. Aaron Pico may not be done yet. All right, let's look at this card from bottom to top, I guess. Ooh. Okay, that was the Cub Swanson we talked about. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Nothing really happened. It was just a little boring. It just, neither guy really could get going. Johnny Walker was using a lot of low kicks. Dominic Reyes was using a lot of jab and lead hooks. And neither one of them could follow up and really get going. I mean, people thought that Johnny Walker won. I thought that Dominic Reyes won simply because there were plenty of times where he was able to snap the head back of Johnny Walker. It's like a one-shot deal. He wasn't following up. And it was the same a little bit for Dominic Reyes, but Johnny Walker worked a lot on the legs and not a lot on the head. So the damage on Dominic Reyes didn't seem as much as it did on Johnny Walker from taking the shots. And in fact, Dominic Reyes didn't seem to be affected by the leg kicks so much that he would change stances or anything like that. So you can't even give Johnny Walker the oh, well, he was damaging his legs. I mean, he might have been visually, but you never saw Dominic Reyes have to switch stances or hobbling or anything like that. In fact, when Johnny Walker took a kick from Dominic Reyes in the third round, he started to wobble a little bit. So yeah, Dominic Reyes won. I think they got the right guy, but it was the right guy for a fight that literally nothing happened. Curtis Blade, Josh Hokit. So here's one we got to chat about just a little bit. First things first, Curtis Blades has to realize that though he is and it was clear, he's a tough, durable veteran, clearly not ready to give up the ass just because. And he waited. He got so damaged, I think, early. I think the eye socket was broke early. I think the nose was broken early. And I think that for him to be able to fight through that, even to get to the end of the fight, was crazy. But there were moments where Curtis Blades took down Josh Hokit, and man, look, if you've already been beat up so bad like this, and maybe he was just trying to grind it out, doing the best he can, make you carry his weight, but you got to try to leg ride. You got to try to you were standing up with your arms wrapped around him, and hugging him and holding him, so you can't say there was an energy issue. Body lock him on the ground, seatbelt him in, leg ride, do something to keep him there. Josh Hokit just got up multiple times, I think. And again, no cardio for Josh Hokit. He was on heart, and so was Curtis Blades. And Curtis Blades had moments as well. But Josh Hokit's hand speed reminded me a lot of an early Vitor Belfort, where he just walked in when the bell rang, and he was pop, 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 and just knocking dudes out. So to me, Josh Hokit fought the fight that he needed to fight. He needs some time to get. They said he's going to be on the White House card, and we'll get into that in a second. But without cardio, he is going to have a problem with guys that can actually move with him. He took a lot of shots as well. He did what he needed to do leading up to the fight. Listen, not everybody is as creative as, say, a Chael or say a Connor, but let's be honest. Here we are, 2026. UFC's looking for stars, and what they have is a carbon copy of a carbon copy of a carbon copy. So if you were to say Ali is the guy, then anything after that really is a carbon copy. So Connor's a carbon copy of Chael. Chael's a carbon copy of what Ali was trying to do. And even though they don't even match because Ali was doing so much more, and it's hard to even put that, but we're just talking about the trash talk portion. Yeah, I mean, Hokit basically just let me get the books out and see all the quotes of everything, and let me just kind of do the same thing. And listen, man, he got attention on him. He did what he needed to do, and he fought the fight he needed to fight. Congratulations to him. They said he's going to be on the White House card now. Woo! And he's going to be fighting Derek "My Balls is Hot" Lewis. And the only thing I have to say about that is Derek Lewis has injuries that always affect his performance. And unfortunately, a guy with hand speed like this, with potentially like a knee injury, a back injury, the things that Derek Lewis always complains about his injuries are things that keep him immobile. Back injury, knee injury. He's probably going to still win. Maybe he's going to cover up and then knock Hokit out. Because if Hokit couldn't finish a Curtis Blade that had basically a broken face, then maybe he can't finish Derek Lewis. I don't know. But it feels like they could have given Hokit a moment to breathe, recover, get some cardio under his belt, and maybe set him up with a really good fight that is not just a White House or a spectacle. I mean, Trump set it up. Whatever, man. Ugh. All right. I wonder why the place is empty. Anyway, onward. Paulo Costa. Here's a man that came through. Secret juice or not. He fought Asmat Mazakaranov. I just didn't want to say it wrong, and I still did. Anyway, he was 16-0 coming in, and he was knocking people out. Very good kickboxer, great striker. Paulo Costa just led him into the right thing, and Paulo Costa, I think, maybe broke his arm throwing high kicks at him, which ended up working out great because the more he threw those kicks, the more available Asmat became to that kick, and his arm got damaged, his head got cracked, and he just said, fuck it, I'm sitting down, it's over. Paulo Costa fought a very, I don't want to call it a smart fight, but it was a smart fight. He kept himself away from that guy, stayed off of getting in too much trouble, and kept throwing those high kicks, which, if you're opposite stances, Asmat's a southpaw. Paulo hasn't had a great success with southpaws. But yeah, if you're the opposite stance, throw the kick at the body, at the head, throw it. They have to defend it. And unfortunately, Asmat couldn't get the defense going with the arms, trying to throw punches off the kicks, and caught a bad one. And then Paulo Costa went and, but whatever. All right, here we go. Last fight, Jiri Prochazka, Carlos Ulberg. If you have a chance to win a fight, win a fight. If you have a chance to win a game, win a game. If you have a chance to win at checkers, win. If you have a chance to win your game at Monopoly, whatever it is, win. You can talk about it later. You can share a beer. You can crack jokes. You can relive it, whatever the case may be. But the opportunities to win things passes very quickly. So Ulberg looked to have blown out his knee, his Achilles, his ankle, I don't know. Whatever it is, everybody's kind of waiting to see. And Jiri claimed he gave him mercy, claimed he was in the moment, he couldn't get himself going. Whatever it is, it does not matter. It's irrelevant. The truth of the matter is you have got to finish fights. How many times you watch a basketball game, a football game, a fight, whatever, and they let the guy stick around, or the girl, or the team, and in the last 3 minutes, 2 minutes, minute, 30 seconds, whatever it is, the person comes back and wins. You cannot allow people to stick around. What could he have done? He was chopping his leg, he showed him mercy. No, he was chopping his leg. Nah, that wasn't chopping his leg. Have you ever seen Jose Aldo versus Uriah Faber? I mean, there are lots of leg kick finishes. And I think you just keep smashing till the person falls down. He already was about to fall down. So you don't even have to step forward. Just enough to be in kicking range. And you keep smashing. They can't check the kick. They can't stop the kick because their other leg is compromised. This would have been the best amount of mercy. Instead of knocking him out on one leg, I just kicked his other leg until he couldn't stand. Fight's over. I win. And maybe we'll get a rematch when his leg is better. And then, maybe we can talk about fighting with him not compromised. But now Ulberg is the champion. Jiri's on the back burner. Ulberg's on the back burner because who knows how long he's going to be out with his knee, leg, toe injury, whatever it is. Although, shout out to City Kickboxing because they put out some champs. What are we talking about? Khalil Roundtree? He hasn't been winning. Ankalaev? Nah, not likely. I don't know where this Paulo Costa? Again, then against who? This division's kind of gone weird right now because of this whole situation. So I guess we'll find out what happens when they tell us what's up with Carlos Ulberg's knee. If they're talking about stripping this dude, is crazy. I think you just run interim fight. You let him get healthy. But stripping Ulberg would tell me one thing about how the UFC feels about him. If they strip you, Carlos Ulberg, the UFC doesn't like you. And they especially don't like you being the champ. Because there's no reason to strip you here. It's going to be 3 months or so before, 4 or 5 months before, the next fight that even matters for that division, for the 205 division. So why not 5 months, 6 months down the road here, you make an interim. And then it'll be another 3, 4, 5 months before you can run the championship anyway. So it only makes sense not to strip him and just let him get healthy and you run an interim in between. So I guess we'll find out. Do they like you? I would think they would. But it doesn't seem like they promote anybody. It's hard to tell who they like until maybe they're done. And even then, you might not even get a microphone to say, hey, thank you guys so much for all of your support. Ugh. Anyway, roller coaster of a fight because there were some boring fights on there. There were some good fights on there. Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I just skipped right over it. Spider-Man emoji. They looked very similar. There was only one moment where Randy Brown really got in trouble. It was a deep, deep Darce choke, which he was able to get out of. Which, man, it was deep. He pulled some Volkanovski on that one. So, yeah, Kevin Holland won that by less than spectacular decision. He said he's looking for rematches with his opponents that he lost to. So I guess that's maybe his road to like redemption and possibly maybe a chance at the title down the road. Maybe he's starting to see like, okay, this is where I got to make my run. Nonetheless, Johnny Walker, Dominic Reyes, not great. Kevin Holland, Randy Brown, not great. Hokit. Also, Hokit looked like a Johnny Hendricks out there a little bit. 2026 Johnny Hendricks. Hokit versus Curtis Blades. Crazy fight. I don't know if it's the best heavyweight fight of all time, but it's definitely up there. Jiri versus Ulberg. I wish it would have gone differently. That was just tough to watch. I mean, some fights are just tough to watch. Anderson Silva getting his leg broken, tough to watch. BJ Penn coming in that straight up stance and getting the shit kicked out of him, tough to watch. Like sometimes it's hard to watch guys that you just want the best for, and it just doesn't happen. All that being said, if you like the show, keep the like, hit the subscribe, tell a friend, pass it along. If you want to stop by the gym, it's the 8-year anniversary, $120 for your first month. It's a great deal. Hit us up, www.luckysmt.com. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. That's all I got. What a wild, wild fight card that nobody saw in person. Also, Derek Lewis versus Hokit on the White House is, I forgot to go over this, but he can't stand up usually. So maybe I went over it a little bit, but yeah. I'm out. Peace. Have a great day.